I've been associated with Fort Osage basically my whole life. I was in the first class that went through K through 12. All of them. There are classes that started, in the district. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, that was always kind of a fun little legacy. Well, my kindergarten class was in an old house. It was split, AM or PM classes, and then Blue Hills was getting added on to. So by the time I got out of Blue Hills in the 8th grade, we were sent down here to the high school. At the time, we started out in that, Gym 1, and by my junior year, this gym would be, Gym 2. It was finished, which that was a big deal to us. We have this nice field house, that was fun. They had to build a track in the we didn't have a track for a while.
It's been really awesome being able to come back to Fort and teach after graduating in 2010, especially being the broadcasting teacher, and getting to bring all of the things that I've learned across the world, even with the different fields that I've worked in. And when I took broadcasting, it was upstairs in the library. After I graduated a couple years later and moved down to the freshman center. And when I got hired, it actually got moved back up to my original broadcasting room. And in that room, I found pictures from when I was in broadcasting. So it's been really awesome kind of having this full circle moment, because broadcasting is where I found my home at Fort Osage. It might have been late senior, junior year that I really found that connection here, but broadcasting changed my life and set up me for what I want to do in my future when I went to Northwest and got my full ride for it. And I really have the environment that the school built to thank for where I am.
Ford is not done being different. Another person I was talking this morning, when they walked into the lobby, how much different it was than when they were here as a teacher. And I think that's what's so phenomenal. You look at a room just like this, where broadcasting has a separate spot, and teams have a team film room and everything. And wow, it's just phenomenal, the growth, not just at the high school, but all of our schools. Oh, I have so many stories. Let me tell you, buddy. I came here January 2nd, 1973 as a brand new student teacher. I had went to Truman High School. I went to University of Missouri at Kansas City, and they had a rule you could not go back and student teach at your home school, which I thought was dumb. But so I didn't. I probably lived closer to Fort Osage than I did to Truman. And so I decided to go to Fort Osage. You know what they did? They opened their arms here to me, like I was somebody, and I was nobody. I'm still nobody, but they treated me like it was a family.
Well, I've been here a long time. I went to first grade through 12th grade here at Fort Osage, graduated in 1965, and then I taught at Blue Hills Elementary School, and was principal at Courtney Elementary School, and then was assistant superintendent down at central office. So, been here a long time, loved every minute of it, look forward to coming to school every day. Well, it was wonderful for me. It was important in my life, and it was a great organization to be a part of.
Well, it goes back a long time. I started as a move-in on January 2nd, 1951, as a second grader at a little country school called Union, and progressed through school. I graduated from Fort Osage in 1961, and then returned to teach at Elm Grove from 1965 to 1972, was principal at Courtney from 72 to 76, and principal at Buckner Elementary from 76 to 95 till I retired. Seen a lot of growth in the district. The story that I would tell is, when I was a freshman in high school at Fort, we came in, the entrance to the campus was off 24 Highway, down by where there was a flashing intersection. And when you turned on campus, the first thing you saw was a sewer lagoon. It had a pond. It looked like a pond. And one day when we came in, there was a number of ducks on the pond. So some enterprising students, the next day when we came in, there was an outhouse sitting on the bank of the pond with a big sign that said, "Yield duck blind." Those were the things that students did to cause a little levity and things that you remember that really weren't destructive, but leave a lasting impression about the ingenuity of some of us folks.
I was hired in the spring of 2020, right before COVID hit. And so my transition to Fort Osage was during the COVID shutdown. And my first year as an administrator in the Fort Osage School District was during COVID. And although I think that for many other Missouri educators, that was a very scary time, I was not frightened at all. I was completely supported and made a very close friendship and bond with my other administrator colleagues and my teachers and staff. And I just have had the most amazing experience at Fort, and I am very, very blessed to be here.
I'm a student. I would probably just say thank you, because it's definitely helped me create memories for my teenage years, which has been really awesome. It's also let me have a home away from home that's just right down the highway. So just thank you overall. Fort has impacted me in a lot of ways. I've been in a lot of different activities, so it's kind of set me up for what my future is going to look like with being busy every day and kind of having good time management skills. So yeah.
Well, I'm a former student, graduated class of 1989, and I'm also a staff member. I am the business services coordinator at Central Office, beginning my 32nd year. One that I was reminded of several times today is I was on a student organizing committee over at what Osage Trail, but back then was called the junior high. We were wanting some improvements to our food service, our lunch service. So a group of us students met with our food service director and just gave him a list of recommendations that we thought would help improve the program. He took them and wadded them up and threw them in the trash. So we organized an actual boycott of the lunch program. My position was to get the staff involved, which I did. And we set a certain date. The local news channels were here, and one, maybe two people were going to eat that day, but a couple of our classmates grabbed their lunches and told them no, so actually nobody ate that day. So that was a memorable moment, and it definitely did help because there were improvements made from there on. So that was a memory that I will always have and glad to have been a part of, because it did help with some improvements.
And I have been for 32, going on 33 years. It has come a long way since I became a school board member. Back in 1992, a lot of buildings have been built and redone throughout the years, so it's been quite a venture. I guess what I would like to share is I started out being a member of the Athletic Booster Club. And then I became an officer and was an officer in the Athletic Booster Club for 13 years. And then I decided to run for the school board and was fortunate enough to be elected. And so that has definitely been a learning experience for me throughout the years. It has been some wonderful times. I've been a part of hiring 4 superintendents, which I'm very proud of. I then also have become a member of the Fort Osage Education Foundation, which I'm very passionate about. I have chaired the Red Barn Bash event that we have in the fall, and it has done very well financially. I'm very proud of that and helping all the kids and staff here at Fort Osage.
Well, I was hired to teach home economics, and then for a while I taught human environmental sciences, and I retired as a FACS teacher, but I was in the same room for 27 years. They just kept changing my titles. Well, I think from the time I was 26 or 7 years old until I retired, it was a very big part of my life because I was very involved, not only as a home economics / FACS teacher, but also I think I sponsored everything from National Honor Society, Student Council, Indianettes, cheerleaders, probably a few other things. I was good friends with both of the theater teachers, so I made a ton of costumes. In fact, I made 97 for The King and I. For all the little kids, I made all their little costumes. There were 97 parts. So I was pretty involved and made lots of Indianette costumes too.
I am with the Career and Technology Center. I'm currently the director, and I started the ag program. Yeah. Okay. Back in 1997, the Fort Osage School District started an agriculture education program, and I was lucky enough to get to be the first instructor. So I started that program. We started that, and it was in affiliation with the City of Sugar Creek, Waste Management, and then, of course, the Fort Osage School District. And we had a 9,000 square foot greenhouse that was over off of 291, right across from where Lafarge is, a little down from where the drive-in movie theater used to be. And so students would come there every day for a morning session and an afternoon session. And then we would have really awesome plant sales. People would come. We would grow hundreds of poinsettias. And then we had a spring crop that was really fantastic as well. And then that program has now moved to the CTC here on the main campus. Since then, I have been a math facilitator for the building, and then assistant director, and now director, and I'm getting ready to retire. So we have had ag here for 28 years, and I'm very proud of that.